This is my buddy Mitch. We're just going to talk about a concept that has helped me find heel hooks a lot lately. We get into situations where we look for heel hooks and we try and dig them, and for whatever reason we can't seem to dig the heel hook. The heel is just, you can't find it, okay? And recently I've sort of figured out a way that we can, I've created or discovered a rule that helps me find the heel a lot easier. And it's the idea of creating a perpendicular, perpendicular legs, okay? So generally, if our knees and shins are facing in the same direction in a parallel fashion like this, the heels will be hard to find. But if I can rotate my body to a situation where I'm going perpendicular into my partner's legs, and our knees are running in perpendicular lines, the heel becomes much more accessible. This is true for outside heel hooks and inside heel hooks, okay? So we'll show a few different situations and take a look. So let's just first look at 50-50, probably the most common situation. Let's go on this side so I can see. Okay, so right now we're facing, and as you can see, both of our knees are facing the ceiling, okay? If Mitch hides his heel, it's very difficult for me to get at it, okay? Look how our knee, again, my leg and his leg are running in the same line, okay? So what I need to do is create a situation where my hips are running in this line, okay? That's why you'll see the 80-20 being such an effective position, is the hipping out like this, and then we're locking up like this. Now I've created that angle that I want, okay? Now I actually don't use the 80-20 a lot. I much rather prefer the outside Senkaku, but it's the same sort of idea. And in this case, we're gonna create the heel exposure with by spinning to the inside. Let's just move towards the wall. Yeah. So I'm here in 50-50, I've got my legs locked, I'm safe, he locks his legs, he's also safe. So we're starting in a neutral position. And I gotta do a good job of untangling the legs, you know, that's a battle. And then I separate his legs. Okay, so now at this point I pass my legs to the opposite side. I'm completely safe, I'm all offense here. So as I come up, my hips are gonna go in a downward motion, and I'm gonna rotate faster than him, ideally. Okay, if he's good, he's gonna also rotate, and we're going to get into this series of me trying to beat his rotation. But really what I want is this. I get up in the base and I force his foot across the side. So now as I'm here, look how my legs are now facing in a perpendicular line to his legs. Okay? So the way that I can accelerate this rotation is I simply just fall to my right shoulder and I look the other way. Once I get here, I end up in a situation where I can dig at pretty much any time, okay? I could even dig a lot of the time when I'm here. I get here, and I can dig right away. So now, when we look at the backside 50-50, let's just turn. Yep. Let's turn this way. Look at our legs. So I'll get your butt up a little bit. This is ideal. Where my hips are going into his leg, you can see his hamstring and my quad are running in opposite, perpendicular lines, okay? And there's tons of heel exposure here. Now watch what happens to his heel when he rolls back into 50-50. Our knees face in the same line, and so his heel becomes more elusive for me, okay? So I'm finding when we're doing these digs, it comes down to creating perpendicular legs, okay? Another fine example here. When we are in the saddle, okay? I'm in the saddle with my partner, and my knees face up, and his knees face up, and he hides his heel. There's no exposure there, okay? But if I can get my hips onto this line, where my knees are perpendicular to his, now, when I lift up, there's tons of exposure here, right? And of course, when I finish, I want to apply a wedge on the outside of his knee going in. We'll show one from the outside heel hook in a sec, okay? But what this relies on is me having a closed elbow. Okay, I'm not going to go into all the finishing details here. But now by just pushing my hips into the side of his knee and shrugging and getting up on my elbow here, we get a strong finish, okay? So I need to make sure that my force vector is going laterally through his knee, okay? Let's just look at the outside heel hook now. So outside ashi. Okay, earlier in our days when we were discovering leg locks and we were trying to figure out what the hell Danaher and his guys were doing, we would be digging, but our hips would be facing the ceiling. So as you can see here, Mitch's knees are facing up and so are mine. So when I go for my dig, as long as he turns with me, our legs are still facing the same way and his heel is still hidden. okay? So really what I need to do is I need to find a way to blade my knees so that I get here. And so I prefer this angle a lot more right now, okay? Now, as you can see, my knees are facing this way, his knee is facing towards the ceiling, okay? And so when I go through, we roll and we dig, I catch the dig, again, just stop here, I'm sideways, but what I'd actually really like is this. That's even better, okay? So now, again, you can see my hip, the force vector will be going right through the side of his knee. Again, I'm gonna pull up with my hands, I close my elbow, I back heel, and I start to build to my elbow position here, and I can just finish by pulling the hands up as I apply the opposing force with my legs, okay? So, when we're going for heel hooks, we're looking for the exposure, I'm always now trying to create that perpendicular leg angle. I know that if our knees are running in the same line, it's going to be super difficult for me to access the heel. And so I like to create rotation in order to expose the heel. I'll show it from a defensive situation too. So now Mitch is going to go to outside Ashy on me. Let's go this way. So you take it right there, straight Ashy. Okay. So now he wants to dig my heel. So my defense lies in keeping my knees pointing the same way as his knee. Okay. But now what I can do is I can actually reap him, because there's an opportunity now for me to go in and join my legs. Very hard for him to actually finish the heel hook from here. Let's do it like this, so you can see. So I'll get you facing towards the camera like this. We're gonna roll this way, right? So now he's going for this heel hook, and I'm turning my knee down, externally rotating my hip and hiding my heel, and I reap him. So now I'm going to get up and over and create a roll, okay? As I come up, I separate through, and I try and get my elbow to the inside, and I catch. So see, I still don't have anything. Our legs are still running in the same line, okay? But if I could have sped up my rotation quicker than Mitch, I'd get here. And now we end up with perpendicular legs and tons of heel exposure, okay? So really that's the goal, is how do I get my shins on a perpendicular line to his, okay? Hope you guys liked it. Try to